I am going to share a bit about HD wallets today. The reason that I am sharing about this is that in the Bitcoin SV system, there is a movement to change how we do HD wallets. So HD wallets is a thing in all cryptocurrencies. To start, I guess, for the non-technical, you would know this by the seed phrase. So the 24 or 12 word seed phrase. And you're told to remember those words or put them in a safe place, or you'll lose all your crypto. And that's true. So, this new system that BSV is developing, or rather, certain architects within the ecosystem are developing, doesn't solve that problem that you might lose your seed phrase, but it brings to, from what I'm understanding, it brings to a new dimension this whole idea of what an HD wallet is and what it does. This video is not going to talk about that. It's going to talk about the basics of an HD wallet so we can understand the foundation from which we are shifting. So, all right, to start, so the seed phrase is what begins the whole, basically it's a tree. The HD wallet represents a tree that can generate billions and billions of addresses with one seed. So I'm going to write down for you the parts, and then we will go through each part. So M, that's the private key, the extended private key from which all of the deterministic key pairs are generated. So definition-wise, we all know hierarchical means, in this case, the keys are arranged in a tree with multiple levels so you can organize your keys in a structured way. Deterministic means from one seed, you can always generate the exact same sequence of keys and addresses every time. So that's important. All right, so we start with M, and this is going to be a derivation path that you may or may not be familiar with. But in addition to your seed, this derivation path is required for restoring any lost crypto. So the second part they call the purpose. The third part they call the coin type. The fourth they call account. The fifth is whether it is change or receiving. And then the sixth part is your public-private key pair, or the representation of that. So, all right. So I'm gonna erase this so we can see what it looks like typically, what you'll typically see. So you see M, and then you'll see 44, and we'll talk about that in a second. You'll see a coin type. So in BSV, it's 236. Then you will see an account, and it's typically 0. then you will see, and this is binary, so it's going to be 0 or 1. It is the change or receiving. And then this one is that last index. And I say these are all technically indexes, but this last one is when you get to the address that your derivation path has generated. So it's 0, but that's the first one. But let's say your path says this is 5. That means it's the 6th address that your tree, this path of your tree, has generated. Okay, so that is what represents your address in the derivation path. So to talk a little bit more about each part, so 44 here is it's referring to BIP, Bitcoin Improvement Protocol 44, which was actually an improvement, or rather extension of BIP-32. So BIP-32 was just, here's how you generate an HD wallet. BIP-44 was trying to make it so that wallets could interoperate. Okay, so to further explain this, let's say it refers to the purpose, but also, and this is important later, it refers to the script type. So that means, how are we building this transaction? And in BIP-44, it is P to P, K, H. And this is generally speaking, because this whole wallet, HD wallet system built on BIP-44 is actually used in the Ledger hardware system and other Trezor, etc. And so they use this same HD wallet and derivation path to handle multiple coins, right? And so that gets us to the next piece, which is the coin type. So let's go down here and we'll say coin type. All right. So 236, and there was, I think it's slip 44. I'm not sure, and I don't know. I'm not sure where slip 44 is cataloged, but it gave numbers. It assigned numbers to every different coin. So here you see 236 means BSV. 0, 0 is what the core coin uses. So that's BTC core coin. And I'll come back to the script type with respect to that in a second. So the next is the account. All right. So let's go down here and say account. And what this means is that you can have a bunch of pools of addresses. So most typically, it's just going to be one pool. But this little piece here in the tree system, this branch could say, oh, we're on number 1. So that means your second pool of addresses, or further 3, 4, 5, etc. So if you can visualize a tree, you can understand what that means. So the next is the change or receiving address. So the receiving address would be what you give to someone publicly. Send me coin to this address, right? And again, the address is really represented in this last one, but this part shows the tree, whether it's going to be a receiving address or a change address. If it were a change address, it would be a 1. So it's always going to be a 0 or 1 here. So let's say receive or change. Because your change address is not ever going to be something you hand out publicly. It just is managed in the wallet system. Okay, and this last one, 5, that is once you've determined where you are in your tree for this particular address, this refers to the number of that address. So for example, if you over here in account, you were at the second in the string, because we always start at 0 here for number 1, counterintuitively. But anyway, say you're at your second address, then the path would be M44 236 1, and it's a public, so let's say it's 0, and then 5 would mean your 6th address in that tree. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about here? Right, okay, so remember when I said Ledger uses this same structure? So imagine that you have one seed phrase and you have 10 crypto in that wallet. So your seed has to follow this convention, and they do that. So all of, and this is where I'm going a little bit higher level, but only UTXO coins, typically proof of work, like BSV, BTC Core, BCH, Litecoin, etc. There's only a small handful that would have this receive or change part. And that's why it's a little bit higher level. I think many who listen to my channel will get that. And if you don't, it's okay. We're all just learning. Let's see, what else might I say? Yeah, I wanted to also talk about the script type, because that is also very interesting. So when BIP-44 started, P to PKH was the script. It's very standard. It just means I'm sending crypto to you. In that time frame, it was I'm sending Bitcoin to you. Ethereum uses the same HD structure, and they, through that slip, I think it's slip, SLIP, I think the number is 44, they have a different coin number. Ethereum does. Same with all the other coins. So you can look that up for that list. So, but anyway, they all use this BIP-44 convention, which is P to PKH. So when Core Coin, BTC Core, when they started doing things with SegWit and Taproot, they use different script types. Okay, they use different script types. So this number changes. So your same seed on Ledger would control different derivation paths. And it does whether you just have one coin or many. But in the case of Core Coin, those script types would change out this number 44 here. So that's also interesting. The script type becomes important when we think about where BSV is heading. Because in BSV, there's so many non-standard scripts, in fact, that don't even require an address. So this whole convention ends up with an address. But if you understand BSV, there are script types happening, meaning transactions happening, because all transactions are like a mini script that do not have an address associated with them. So that just kind of speaks generally to how flexible the BSV system is. And perhaps one of the reasons why a migration to a better HD wallet system is happening, although I'm not going to go into the reasons why yet, because that's a whole nother video, but you can read about it. It's called HDKS, and I think it is BRC-42 and 43, which defines the framework. But anyway, hope this is helpful, and I might do a follow-up with a couple visuals that would set in some of this learning.